Welcome everyone. Today we're diving into the exciting world of budget-friendly prepping. Now you might think that preparedness is a luxury reserved for those with deep pockets, but I'm here to tell you, it's not. In fact, you can build a solid emergency preparedness plan without spending a fortune. It's all about being resourceful, smart, and strategic with your spending. Over the next few minutes, we'll be discussing practical tips and strategies that will help you prepare for any emergency that might come your way without causing financial strain. We'll be covering everything from understanding the basics of prepping to planning your budget, storing food and water, assembling DIY emergency kits, and even making the most of community networks, all on a shoestring budget. So, buckle up and get ready to become a budget-savvy prepper. So, let's begin our journey to becoming well-prepared without breaking the bank. First things first, let's understand what prepping entails and why it's crucial, especially for those with limited resources. At its core, prepping is about being ready for unexpected situations and emergencies. It's about ensuring that you and your loved ones have access to the essentials, no matter what life throws at you. And it's not just for the wealthy or the overly cautious, it's a practical strategy for anyone, regardless of your financial situation. Now let's break down the basics of prepping. When it comes to emergencies, there are 4 fundamental needs you need to consider: water, food, shelter, and security. Water is life. In an emergency, access to clean, drinkable water is paramount. It's used for hydration, of course, but also for cooking, cleaning, and hygiene. It's so important that we'll dedicate an entire section of this video to budget-friendly water storage and purification strategies. Next is food. Having a supply of non-perishable food items can make a huge difference in a crisis situation. We're talking canned goods, dried beans, rice, simple, long-lasting foods that will keep you nourished when the grocery stores are empty or inaccessible. Shelter is your next consideration. This isn't just about having a roof over your head, it's about staying warm, dry, and protected from the elements. Think about your living situation, your climate, and the types of emergencies you're most likely to face. What kind of preparations can you make to ensure your home is a safe haven, even in the worst of times? And finally, security. This is about protecting yourself, your loved ones, and your supplies from potential threats. It might involve learning basic self-defense, securing your home, or even just having a plan in place for various emergency scenarios. Now that we've grasped the basics, let's move on to the next step: planning our budget for prepping supplies. It might seem daunting, but with a little forethought and creativity, you can prepare for emergencies without breaking the bank. Budgeting is key in prepping, especially when resources are limited. Remember, prepping isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's about steadily building your supplies over time, not buying everything at once. So, how do you create a budget for prepping? Start by determining how much you can realistically set aside each month for prepping supplies. Even a small amount like $20 can go a long way over time. Next, make a list of the supplies you need. Prioritize this list based on what you'll need most in a potential emergency situation. For example, water purification tablets might take precedence over a high-end camping stove. Think about the emergencies most likely to occur in your area, and let that guide your purchases. It's all about smart allocation of your funds. Being strategic with your budget doesn't mean cutting corners, it means making the most of what you have. With a clear budget in sight, let's discuss the first essential element: water. Water is life, so how can we store and purify it without spending a fortune? Storing water doesn't have to break the bank. One of the easiest and most cost-effective methods is to sanitize and reuse commercial water bottles. First, clean the bottles with warm, soapy water, rinse thoroughly, then fill with tap water. Store these bottles in a cool, dark place. Remember, rotating your water supply every 6 months ensures freshness. But what if you don't have stored water, or you've run out? You can collect rainwater, or if you're near a natural water source like a river or lake, you can gather water from there. Be sure to purify it before drinking. Now let's talk about purification. Boiling is the oldest and most effective method. You simply bring the water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute, and it's ready to drink. This method kills most types of disease-causing organisms. Another affordable method is bleach purification. Household bleach contains chlorine, which disinfects water. To purify, add 8 drops of unscented liquid chlorine bleach to 1 gallon of water, stir, then let it stand for 30 minutes. The water should have a slight chlorine smell. If it doesn't, repeat the dosage and let it stand for another 15 minutes. Finally, there's the do-it-yourself filter. This might not be as effective as commercial filters, but it can help in a pinch. All you need is a plastic bottle, a cloth or coffee filter, and layers of sand, charcoal, and gravel. The water passes through these layers, removing impurities. Remember, each method has its pros and cons. Boiling requires heat, bleach has a limited shelf life, and DIY filters may not remove all pathogens. But understanding and practicing these techniques can provide you with safe drinking water when you need it most. Having sorted out our water needs, next comes food. Food is another essential element in prepping. Let's explore how to do it affordably. When it comes to stocking up on food, you might be tempted to think of those expensive pre-packaged survival meals, but let's be real here. You can achieve the same goal without breaking the bank. Starting with non-perishable staples like rice, beans, and canned goods is a smart move. These are both cheap and have a long shelf life. Plus, with a bit of creativity, you can whip up a variety of meals from these basics. Now you might be wondering, how do I gather enough of these food items without spending a fortune? Well, it's all about strategy. Think about buying in bulk. This can be a cost-effective way to accumulate a large amount of food. But remember, only buy what you can realistically store and consume before it expires. Wasted food is wasted money. Also, consider taking advantage of sales and using coupons. It's surprising how much you can save with a little time and effort. Keep an eye out for deals in your local grocery stores and don't forget about online options. Many websites offer coupons and discounts that can help you stockpile food on a budget. And here's another tip: diversify your food storage. While rice and beans are great, you'll also want to include other types of food. Think canned fruits and vegetables, canned meats, and long-life dairy products. Variety not only makes your meals more interesting, but also ensures you get a balanced diet. Remember, food storage isn't something that happens overnight. It's a gradual process that builds up over time. Every time you go shopping, pick up an extra can of vegetables or a bag of rice. Before you know it, you'll have a sizable stash of food ready for any situation. Now, wouldn't it be handy to have an emergency kit? Let's find out how to assemble one on a budget. An emergency kit is a prepper's best friend. Let's see how to build one without draining our pockets. First things first, grab a sturdy backpack or container to house your essentials. You might already have a suitable one lying around the house. If not, you can find affordable options at secondhand stores or discount outlets. Next, let's talk about lighting. When the power's out, a reliable flashlight can be a lifesaver. You don't need to spend a fortune on this. A simple LED flashlight will do the trick, and don't forget to pack some extra batteries. Now, on to first aid supplies. A basic first aid kit should include adhesive bandages, antiseptic wipes, tweezers, medical tape, and a pair of gloves. You can often find these items for less than $1 each at your local dollar store. Remember, staying warm is crucial during emergencies. An inexpensive space blanket, also known as a Mylar blanket, can help retain body heat in cold conditions. It's lightweight, compact, and can be a real lifesaver in a pinch. Food and water are, of course, essentials. Pack a few bottles of water and some non-perishable food items like granola bars or canned goods. Just make sure you have a manual can opener in your kit if you're packing canned food. Lastly, don't forget about tools. A multi-tool, which includes a knife, can opener, and various screwdrivers, can be incredibly useful in a variety of situations. You can often find these for under $10, so there you have it. A simple, cost-effective way to assemble your own emergency kit. Remember, the goal is not to have the fanciest gear, but to be prepared and resourceful. With our emergency kit ready, let's delve into the world of thriftiness and resourcefulness. Frugality and creativity can go a long way in prepping. Let's explore how. Secondhand stores, garage sales, and online marketplaces are gold mines for affordable prepping supplies. From camping gear to kitchen utensils, you'd be surprised what you can find. Don't overlook the potential of everyday items either. That old coffee can? It can be a mini stove or a storage container. An out-of-date road atlas? It's a valuable resource if digital maps are down. Your creativity can transform seemingly mundane items into life-saving tools. A broken umbrella can be repurposed into a water catchment system, and a soda can could become a signal mirror. So start looking at everyday items with a prepper's eye. Remember, the key is to think outside the box. Apart from supplies, knowledge is power. Let's find out how to gain it without spending a dime. Knowledge is a powerful tool in emergencies. Let's learn how to acquire it affordably. A wealth of free and low-cost resources are available to help you learn about prepping and survival skills. Online platforms are a treasure trove of information, offering free tutorials, guides, and forums where you can learn from experienced preppers. Community classes are another great avenue, often providing hands-on training in areas such as first aid and emergency response. Don't overlook your local library. Books on a variety of topics from home repairs to wilderness survival can be borrowed for free or a nominal fee. Self-education is key in emergency preparedness. The more you know, the better you can respond to a crisis, even when resources are scarce. Remember, acquiring knowledge doesn't have to break the bank. It's about being resourceful and taking advantage of the tools available to you. Remember, you're not alone in this. Let's see how community networking can boost our preparedness. Community can be your greatest ally in emergencies. Let's find out how. Building relationships with your neighbors and local community groups is more than just a social endeavor. It's a strategic move for survival. In times of crisis, these relationships can provide mutual aid, support, and resource sharing. Imagine the collective strength of a neighborhood where each household has their own unique skills or supplies. That's a formidable force. Pooling resources doesn't only mean sharing physical items, it's also about sharing knowledge and skills. Maybe your next-door neighbor is a retired nurse, or perhaps the local community center offers free first aid courses. These are resources that can significantly boost your preparedness. At the end of the day, remember, we're all in this together. The stronger your community is, the better your chances of weathering any storm. Now that we've covered all aspects of budget-friendly prepping, let's recap. We've come a long way in our journey to budget-friendly prepping. We've broken down the basics of prepping, and we've seen how you can plan your budget to accommodate your emergency preparedness needs. We've explored affordable strategies for storing and purifying water, as well as for amassing a food supply. We've even delved into creating your own emergency kits and how to be resourceful with what you already have. We've also highlighted the value of learning and networking within your community, and how these can enhance your preparedness without breaking the bank. The key takeaway here is that effective prepping is about smart planning and resourcefulness, not about having a large budget. So, be inspired to start taking small, affordable steps towards being better prepared. Remember, prepping is not about having a large budget, but about smart planning. So start today, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the word about budget-friendly prepping.